Welcome, I'm Duke Pierce,
And I'm Oliver Boone.
and let's go to the movies. How much were you looking forward to seeing the new James Bond?
Honestly, since I think maybe Quantum of Solace, I have not really... Wait, no, it was Skyfall. Skyfall was the last James Bond movie I was actually excited to see. Oh. I don't know too much about this next one, and honestly, I can wait. I can wait for it.
Well, it looks like, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer because No Time to Die has been pushed back to April 2021. This is very upsetting for me because I'm a huge James Bond fan. I did love Skyfall, and I think Daniel Craig's a really good actor and really good James Bond. And it was one of those things I was looking for in the
it's his final
dark
one,
days
isn't
of
it, right?
Yeah,
they're looking for a replacement.
It is,
I always think it's going to be his final one. He just keeps doing them.
And I was really excited for it, and I was like, I'm excited to go back to the movies, and they moved it back on me.
Let's go to the movies in April 2021.
2021,
yeah.
Which makes November pretty empty for movie releases now. And following that news, Regal Cinemas, the second largest cinema chain in the United States, is reportedly deciding on whether or not to close.
Yeah, this is really upsetting because they also, in the UK, they're connected to Cineworld, I believe. Mm-hmm. So I read that on the BBC that they're closing.
It could potentially affect 28,000 employees.
Yeah, what do you think is gonna happen in the future, like with cinemas? It's kind of scary.
It is, and I'm a huge movie theater fan.
Same.
Are you? You like going to the theater more than sitting in your?
Oh, you have to. It's more of an experience.
I do too. I love going to the theater, and I miss it, and I really want to go back.
Honestly, I wonder if drive-in movie theaters are gonna have a comeback. That would be great.
That would be great, but I don't know. There's a couple places. I know Walmart was doing one. Like
Walmart? Okay,
Walmart parking.
The ultimate movie theater place.
But yeah, we'll see. And I hope movie theaters can pull through. I know they're struggling right now. In other news, the Batman resumes filming in the UK after shutting down on September 3rd when Robert Pattinson tested positive for COVID-19. Well, who didn't see that coming? The Batman getting the bat disease.
Oh, that's why you want to bring this one up. Oh, that was a zinger.
Wow. Right? But Matt Reeves, the director, says the film is about 25% done. Do you think the movie's going to be good?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there have been so many Batman movies, but I think it's fun to see every actor do a different spin on it. Same with the directors.
Right, and I agree. And what's supposedly going to make this one a little bit different is that it's more of like a mystery thriller, and it's more about him as a detective versus him fighting Bane.
Kind of more like the Sherlock Holmes Batman. That's fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see that.
I'm just surprised it's like back on track so soon after after Robert Pattinson got COVID. That's great because I feel like that's going to be a huge thing, just a huge constant for like film productions in the future. Like they're going to be closed down for 2-3 weeks and they come right back.
Tenet is still at number 1 and holds the record as the lowest grossing chart topper in 32 years. Forbes writes that Tenet is doing halfway decently for a live-action original or new-to-you sci-fi fantasy adaptation directed by anyone other than Nolan. So it's like he's slowly starting to get to other directors.
Wow.
But it's like if you put him up against Nolan...
Yeah, it's never going to make it.
It's not doing quite good.
I don't know numbers for Interstellar, but they were pretty huge at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and he's a great director, and he's...
Have you seen it yet?
I have not, but our movie correspondent, after driving to the middle of nowhere, finally saw Tenet. Larry Flanagan, can we have your thoughts on Tenet?
I'm still confused.
Well, that's not very helpful.
How long ago did you see it?
It's been like 6 weeks.
Well, that's... Yikes. Anyways, I think it's time we bring out our guest, Autumn Ivy Hobson, who was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. From the time she was 8 years of age, she was on the stage becoming the creative woman she is today. She began her love for theater by being cast in lead roles since high school. She later attended Wayne State University for a major in theater and a minor in dance. She is currently attending the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Ivy Hobson. Today, we are talking about one of your favorite movies,
Yes.
right? You've
Yes.
seen it, what, like 130,000 times?
Maybe more.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa, okay.
We're
the
talking about
only
The
movie,
Birdcage.
yeah.
Robin Williams, Nathan Lane.
Yes.
Directed by the amazing Mike Nichols. And I watched it again last night. You watch it again?
I did. I watched it last night. I didn't know it was directed by Mike Nichols.
Yeah.
This is my second time watching it. I didn't know that the first time. And maybe it's just because of his like kind of like star quality with his like classic movies like The Graduate.
Yeah.
He's afraid of Virginia Woolf. But I started noticing the shots more, and I was appreciating them a lot more.
Right, yeah. So yeah, what are your initial thoughts of The Birdcage?
Okay. Well, I just love that it's got such a simple and clear message about basically it's always better to be open and honest with families. And I mean that like with both families, they're kind of hiding a secret about themselves.
Right.
And I love that it's like two opposite sides that's sharing the same thing.
Yeah, and then about the accepting of, and by the end of the movie, what is revealed, it's like you can't live together if you don't accept each other.
Exactly.
Like you have to know everything's got to be on the table, and you've got to be able to live with that in order to be a family. What are your initial thoughts? Yep. Initial thoughts after you've
What are
seen
your
it.
130 million?
Yeah.
What did this?
You guys watched it last night. I watched it in my dreams. So, you know, it's just one of my favorites. It's just so funny. The lines are witty. The costumes are amazing. The music is great. The connection between characters is just so precious. Even the son and Robin Williams.
The music choice of "We Are Family" is genius.
I love it.
You can't help but
It
dance.
opens and closes the movie.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And that is, like you're saying, the message. We are family. So, I mean, to close with that, it's so great. But, yeah, I could watch it. I could watch it a few more hundred times. So.
Yeah, and I watched, like I said, I watched it again last night, and I have seen it 3 or 4 times now. And one of the things about movies from this time period that I don't see a whole lot anymore in movies, in comedies these days, is that you can watch it 100 times and you find something different each time. So like I did when the Schmecken beckons. Like I just heard that line this time.
Yep.
And it's hilarious, and the way it's delivered is
I'm a
priceless.
Schmecken Becken. Yeah, it's so good.
But it's also just
so funny.
It's a beautiful script, and it was a play first. There was a French adaptation back in 1978,
Right.
I think.
And actually, before this, the school closed down for us. I was doing our musical theater track, and I was playing Nathan Lane's character, and I was
Really?
having a ball.
Oh,
The music teacher was just having a
So
ball
good.
seeing me out of anybody cast in that.
Can we see a little performance now?
I don't
I
know
would
that.
not
We did
detest.
the Pierce the Toast scene.
Yes.
And,
Pierce
yeah.
the toast.
And I did the final. I was doing the final number of our show was the final number of Lacage.
Okay.
But yeah, I was having just a ball milking it, and
It's so good.
so does Nathan Lane. Nathan Lane he has a ball milking it.
Perfect for that role.
And he is like more known for, I mean, obviously acting, but his voice too, because he did the Addams Family on Broadway. He did the Producers, the musical. He's always singing. What was the Lion King too? What's it?
Pumbaa?
Yeah.
It's a heavy subject. What
Yeah.
the movie talks about. It is a heavy subject, but the way it's able to laugh at itself is what I think makes it a comedy. But I don't know if it really.
Well, it's almost a bit of a farce, like how it's like leading up, especially when they're waiting for especially when they're waiting for the mum to arrive. You know?
Yeah, what Mike Nichols has done and what he's done pretty well in the past. Especially you brought up Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but he's keeping the structure of a play within his movies.
Very much, yeah.
There's very much the structure of a play. It's the setup. It's how are we going to solve the problem, and then it's the big farcical ending
Punchline.
with the mother coming in and Nathan Lane dressed up in drag.
I have to say, like the final quarter, like third of the movie, was like the climax and resolution. That is so quick.
Yeah.
Like there's so much build up to the movie. I always thought that like Nathan Lane's character was in drag for so much more of it. He really isn't. I don't remember actually looking at like a timestamp in the movie, but it might have been just. I think it was more than halfway through. It's only in the end where he's
he's
which
actually
is my favorite part as well.
I like how he struggles to put on this like manly, like how a man should sit, and he's like,
oh yeah, that part where he comes in and wearing the suit. It's so, and one of those things, because I want to move on and talk about direction a little bit. Mike Nichols has incredible timing because in that scene, he just allows Nathan Lane to come out, sit down, and do his thing. There's no music playing. You could hear a pin drop, and we all. It's a perfect example of how the characters in the movie and how the audience is in sync with each other, and we all without. And one of the things he's really good at is saying something without having dialogue. But with through the entire portion of that little scene, we all know that's not going to work.
No,
it's not going to happen.
You're still rooting for. You're still rooting.
You want it to happen. You want it to go. Please, just.
And then he
be a little bit manly.
And then the socks. One must have a hint of color. And it's like I love it. It's so good because he can't lose that part of himself, and that's a great lesson. It's like you're never going to be able to change fully. You're always going to be who you're meant to be. So that's really sweet.
Right. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
And yeah. So what do you think of the direction? What do you think of how the movie's directed?
I think there are moments when you can see that, like, okay, this is a bit of a play. Sometimes there's quite a lot of like stillness in the shots and like the set pieces, like when Gene Hackman's coming out of the window and he's on the ladder. But I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie, and I really didn't know Mike Nichols directed this. Yeah, it doesn't seem like his typical movie.
Yeah, but and it doesn't. It really doesn't. And he speaks. Once it was released, he was like, "They all thought I was done, but I'm back." And but if you watch it again, with the knowledge of it, knowing Mike Nichols, you can see his style. Because what he does is he likes to keep the camera on a swivel. He likes to let the actors kind of act, and he uses cuts like any director does. Well, good director does. He uses cuts well, but what he also does is he keeps the camera on his actors and just lets them do takes, do big takes, and it just kind of shows the genius of the professionalism of Nathan Lane, because he comes from the theater, and the genius of Robin Williams, just the energy that man had just to go and go and go. But the opening shot is really very
Nicholas
to the club.
If you watch it, it tells you everything you need to know. What he's really good at, I know I just said this, but what he's really good at is saying things without dialogue. And so that whole thing, you get the where you're at, who these characters are, like the reveal, the introduction of each character is great.
It's great filmmaking, yeah.
It is. And if you notice, with scenes that have multiple characters in it, like, so Hank Azaria, who...
Oh, my God. Oh, man.
Just...
I don't know
my favorite.
I don't know how I feel about him.
I love him so much.
It's just hilarious.
So funny.
But he's had a strange career. It's very bizarre career.
I haven't seen him in too many live actions. Like I know he's like very famous for The Simpsons. I remember him in Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning. Yeah.
But if you look, and all the other characters do this too, but if you look at scenes, the kitchen scene comes to mind. Robin Williams and his character's son are talking, and Hank's just in the background. Hank is listening. He's actively listening. And it happens all the time, where there's multiple characters, and they're all just listening to what's going on. They're always so involved.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's the mark, because Mike Nichols comes from the theater, and so I think he instructs his actors to always be engaged in the scenes.
What I've read about Mike Nichols is that he's like an actor's like favorite director in terms of getting their performances to the best level they can be. I mean, Dustin Hoffman, I believe that was his debut in a film, The Graduate.
Oh yeah.
And
I believe so too.
The performance that Mike Nichols got out of him is legendary.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Absolutely. So I have a quote here from Eric Idle, who's one of the founding members of Monty Python. And Mike Nichols directed, I believe it was Spamalot, when it went on to Broadway. And Idle said, sitting behind him, watching him give notes was a masterclass in directing. He told them to listen to what the others were saying. Often he would have them lie on the ground and just say the lines, no acting, no emphasis. If they found a new laugh or a new piece of shtick and kept it for another performance, he would make them take it out. He insisted they believe in their characters. And those were the knights who say knee. You know?
Oh my gosh. The knights who say knee.
It's that, and I think that translates into this movie is that all of the characters have an immense commitment to what they are, and they all take them very serious. Like Hank Azaria, his character is so obnoxious, but it's because he has commitment to what he's doing, and he believes in his character and the circumstance. It comes across so believable and hilarious.
Right. And one of my favorite scenes is actually right when Ron Williams is by the pool, and you suspect that he has a lover on the side that isn't Nathan Lane, and come to show that it's actually his boy and his son. And I just love when he sits back and Val says, "I'm gonna get married." He's only 20, and he just throws back the wine the whole time and waits, and he's like, "But let me tell you why." That's one of my favorite parts.
And the timing of that is just, it's so like bizarre because he drinks it so fast, but then like it just all works out.
And he's
so
so cool about it. Yeah, but let me tell you why, and then just gets up and just
the
starts
delivery
doing
of it is. But and another thing the movie does really well is that it sets up all of Nathan Lane's insecurities. So like that's a prime example of like we as an audience like. Is he having an affair? We don't know it's his son.
Right.
It is a good-looking younger guy. Like this seems like it could work. Like they are having an affair, and then it's just like, oh yeah, he just says "pa" out of nowhere or "pop" out of nowhere. And one of the things that I really like is that when it does do that, it doesn't make it unnatural.
No.
Like it through the natural dialogue, you learn what his relationship is to Robin Williams' character. Right. And then it's like, oh, I can't wait for Nathan Lane to come in and what's he gonna do? Because it sets us up and of course he goes ballistic and
throws a shoe at him.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I think Mike Nichols does something a little similar to what I've seen a lot of. I was about to say Spielberg. Favorite Spielberg. He does something similar to what Spielberg does in a lot of movies. Which is like he'll have like a moving shot, and then he'll bring it into different shots. And I noticed this so well in the scene where it's Robin Williams and who's the actress playing
Christine Baranski?
Is that the character's name?
No, that's the actress's name.
Just give me the character's name then, and then there'll be
Catherine.
So the actress playing Catherine in that scene with Robin Williams when they're in the office and they start dancing, like it goes from on Christine or Catherine, I don't know.
Catherine, sure.
Okay. It goes from a shot on Catherine, and then they start dancing, and then the camera's moving with them, and then it turns around, and they're sitting on the desk together,
drinking champagne.
And I think it's such a great way. I think more play adaptations should do this, because a lot of the times when I see a play adaptation, it just feels so much slower on film. And I don't think the Birdcage suffers that.
No, not at all. It's about letting the actors, because they're typically more dialogue heavy, it's about letting the actors act, but also, it's still a movie. You still got to have aspects. It's about blending the two. Yeah, that's a good point. It's about blending them together and not try to keep it as a play, but then completely turn it into a movie. It's about finding that balance. And another instance that I really like, kind of similar, but I think this is just a one shot, is when Robin Williams is serving the soup,
Yes.
and it just goes around the table. Mm-hmm. It's so like, and Robin Williams doesn't really come from he comes from stand up, but he doesn't really come from the theater.
He does. He studied at Juilliard.
He studied at Juilliard.
With Christopher Reeve.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they were roommates.
They
Yeah,
were roommates. Yeah.
That's crazy.
but it's I don't know if he ever had a long stint on the theater such as Nathan Lane has. So, but to be able to have that stamina and be able to keep that energy and just go and go and go is.
Well, his stakes were so high too. He was so nervous. I just love when he falls into the other room and he's sweating.
I feel like this is such an atypical Robin Williams performance. What I love about him is that he can do drama or comedy, and he'll always have so much heart.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and you feel it.
Yeah.
Right, and what's really nice about his character is that you see the insecurities that are in Nathan Lane's are blown up. But Robin Williams has those too, but they're just subtler.
He
they're
hides
smaller,
them
and he hides
better.
them
Behind that mustache.
Behind the mustache.
Yeah. What about the movie speaks to you so much?
God, it's just so honest with being ridiculous. It's blown out of proportion, but also it's not, because it's their life, you know, and that's their life. It's ridiculous and it's rowdy and it's crazy and it's full of drag queens, and they are drag queens, you know, and it's just fun to watch. I think also because my father showed it to me, and then watching him on stage and act, I'm just like, that is exactly what Nathan Lane did in Birdcage. That is exactly what Robin Williams did.
Oh, that's an actor as well?
Actor and magician comedian.
Yeah, he worked in Las Vegas a lot.
Yeah, 15 years on the strip.
That's really cool.
He had his own little magic show.
Do you do any magic as well?
No. No, actually, my mom said if I ever marry a magician, she will disown me as
She will disappear.
a daughter. Funny enough, my sister's dating a magician right now, and she's still around, so...
So empty threats
Yeah,
from your mother.
basically. Basically. But, yeah, it reminds me so much of my dad. And my dad plays a gay act on stage. So I think he kind of gets influence from that. But I just love watching it, because it's like I'm watching my dad do all these silly things.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's
Yeah.
cute.
Well, did you know that Elaine May also wrote the screenplay?
I did not.
Who did?
Elaine May.
Oh.
Mike Nichols is it just like a colleague, or are they married?
I don't know if they were married.
I think they are
Oh,
married.
cute.
But they've been working together
power
for
couple.
She did this movie I recently watched that I really liked. It was called Mikey and Nikki, and it was John Cassavetes and Peter Falk.
Peter Falk?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Peter Falk.
wonderful.
And I like him a lot. But she wrote, she wrote The Birdie. She wrote Tootsie. Well, she was
Oh my
uncredited on
gosh,
that
I
one.
loved
Heaven Can Wait. Yeah, and they had some type of relationship, working or not. But yeah, I really enjoy her work as well. What I like about it is that everybody is some form of extreme. You know, it doesn't. It gives its attack on right wingers, but it's not because at one point Gene Hackman goes, "Shall we get Billy Graham?" No, he's too liberal. It's like, in what world is Billy Graham too liberal?
So good.
It's like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what I love is that it sets him up as an extremist. You know, so it's not alienating the people who are like, I don't care about drag queens. I just want to lower taxes. You know,
Right.
so it really, and with the opposite is Nathan Lane, who's really far on the other side. So it takes the two extremes, and it's like these two extremes can live together.
Right.
You know, they can live in harmony, and hopefully along the way, this guy who is not accepting of other people will change his course and
I think that is a good point for when Nathan Lane is dressed up as the mom and they're talking and they're bonding the whole entire time, because everything that Nathan Lane believes in, as if he was like a housewife, that's what he believes in too.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing, but you know.
it shows. And this is one of my favorite parts. I can't remember what it is, and I can't remember how he phrases it. Oh, it's when Nathan Lane's talking about some school that the son has gone to, and he's like, "We were the only people he came from a non-broken household." It's like, well, there you go. It's just because they're
Just
gay
because, yeah.
doesn't mean that they can't have a wholesome family life. And we know like that's very key and growing up is to have a good family life.
Right.
And your mother can be a drag queen.
Yeah.
And it's still
and
have
it's
that.
fun.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cute at the ending too. I love that he stepped out of himself. He's like, you know what? This is my mother, and take she is my mother.
That's a really powerful scene.
It's really pretty.
Spoilers. I just love the moment, like when Gene Hackman realizes. Well, I don't even know if they show that him realizing that he has no choice but to dress up. But once he is a drag queen, once they've got him out of that,
the movie could suck. It could be not funny. Acting could be horrible, but the scene of Gene Hackman in drag is worth the whole thing.
He's just like bouncing.
It's just
actually, he looks all right, to be honest.
it's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he can pass.
And it's I remember watching that for the first time and just being like, I laughed my ass off. It's so funny. He just comes out and he's
So
just
good.
like, it's.
And he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be the only girl dancing on his own.
I love that.
Yeah.
Don't leave me.
And I was, if I had to think of a criticism of it, and I'm kind of go back and forth with this, is
I
that
walk out of here.
their relationship isn't tied up at the end. It's like I can get
There isn't. Yeah, it's in the credits.
right. It's and I can be fine with all the other actors not really having a relationship type, but I would have loved to seen how Gene Hackman feels about Nathan Lane's character after the fact, and I'd like to see his arc a little bit better.
Imagine this. Imagine at the wedding, Nathan Lane's character's crying, and then Gene Hackman hands like a tissue.
Yeah, something like that. But I do, because the reason I went back and forth with this is because I think there is kind of a moment when they're trying to get out of the club and he's dancing, and Nathan Lane walks up to it, is like, "Do you want to dance, my lady?" And so I think that's kind of the moment I'm looking for. But
I want to see
I don't know
it
if
the
it
other
hits.
way around. I want to see Gene Hackman accepting Nathan Lane's
Right.
character because I enjoyed that moment. I get what you're saying. It does end somehow. It doesn't end abruptly. It's just the ending is very short.
It's
compared to
just-
the rest of the
yeah.
movie.
But all, like thinking like how against he kind of is in that way, it's almost like him getting dressed up and putting himself in that, type of thing was kind of like him accepting, like, okay, because that's a big thing to do. I mean,
he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
He's up for
That's-
re-election, and there is poetry in that they're willing to do this for that man.
Yeah.
And I think that's accepted. But it is kind of like they're not the party in this story that needs to be accepting. A little bit, there is a little bit of them needing to accept that he's right wing, but they're also, I think the stronger reveal is coming from the right wing family accepting these the drag queens and
Right.
the homosexuals. So yeah, that was probably about the only criticism I would have with it. Do you have any criticisms outside of that?
I could never. I could never. I love it too much.
Honestly, no. I think it's a fairly simple, straightforward film. I don't think it's like
Right,
I
it's
think
not-
like
it's-
one of Mike Nichols' best, but like it's just I think it's very enjoyable, and I love the story, and I think all of the actors knock it out of the park. I don't know too well the son, the daughter, and the sperm donor mum. Well, it's not a sperm donor mum.
No, it was a
But
fling.
Yeah.
the buff. Was it the buff mum?
The birth mom. Yes. Yeah.
That's the right word.
The birth mom, because she had him, and then they just kind of took him and.
Right. The actor, the actor that plays the son, Val. What's his name?
What is his name?
Dan. I just had it.
I want to say Dan Harmon, but it's not Dan Harmon.
No,
It's not Dan Harmon.
It's not Dan Harmon. It's Dan Futterman.
Dan Futterman.
He's so cute. He's so young and cute,
He
and they're so
is.
innocent. 20 years
Absolutely.
old, and he's just like, I just want to get married.
Yeah, and now he's become a Oscar-nominated writer for Foxcatcher and Capote.
Crazy.
But like, I think he's pretty good in this. I mean, he's very much kind of just playing like an anchor, very quote unquote straight role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the
basic.
straight role.
But also being like just beautiful, but also just being so kind to his parents, and
Absolutely.
and in the morning when Nathan was like, "What? Are you gonna give me a kiss? Are you too grown up for that now?" And he still does it. It's just cute.
I mean, especially for for a film, I think it's very important to know the time that this film came out.
Right.
Right.
It's 1994. Is that right?
I think it's a bit later, but it's definitely the
96.
90s.
And what it does is it makes a political subject non-political.
Yes.
In a certain way. It's like, this
Right.
is not political. This is about human beings having a connection. There's no reason it should be political.
They kept it very. I feel like I'm really glad they strayed away from that because they kept it at like the simple message of accepting people who are different to you.
Yeah.
And he was so worried about being judged just because of that incident that happened
Yeah.
with him.
Exactly.
He was in his mind. He's like, oh, they're so worried because Jackson,
they-
blah blah
they're
blah.
even just-
No. Yeah.
That I don't believe a word of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't believe a word of it.
Yeah, that's
So
it's
good.
brilliant. But it also, if you're a political junkie though, they do throw some
They do.
a little bit. It's
Talking about you, dude?
yeah, a little bit. But because I'll laugh at things that people won't ever laugh at. But he's like when he's talking about the perfect woman and how it's not going to, not Margaret Thatcher though.
Right. Yes.
Or at the end, I cracked
Right.
up at the end because I didn't get it. But when the drag king queen turns up, he goes, "Bob Doyle is gorgeous."
Right. Yes.
It's just like,
At the very end. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so
There
good.
are so many just great lines in this.
Little moments.
There's did we touch on the Robin Williams, Martha Graham?
The little dance.
not
moment.
yet. But we can, because I was just gonna ask what our favorite scenes and favorite lines
Okay.
are.
Yeah, Robin Williams, like this is such like a subtle performance from him, I find, compared to like a lot of his other films. But then there's that just one Williams. Okay, he's gonna do like his impressions and his like
Right.
high energy bits when he's doing the different dances and but you'll keep it within. But you keep it all within.
But here's and one of the things I really like is that could easily be construed or be turned into being out of character for this film. But if you really examine the circumstance, he's like, I just want this to be over with so I can go talk to my son because he needs it. So I think it works where he's just kind of like, I want this, Martha Graham, Madonna.
Fosse, you do Martha Graham, or Twyla, or Michael Kidd, or Madonna. But you keep it all inside. All right, just work on that. I'll be right back.
And
Very nice, good impression.
Yes.
thank you. But they keep it all inside. So it's like and we talked a little bit about this with The Irishman, is that the dichotomy and be able to switch from being robust to being subtle.
Well,
It's kind
think
of-
about the
kind of
line
hard.
itself. Keep it all inside. That's what his character's doing.
Yeah.
Like the entire
Right.
show, the entire film.
He's
you
also
know?
like a theatrical director anyway, so he's gonna be like, "This is what it is. Here you go," and then just go back
when
to
he's
being
losing
normal.
his mind, he's keeping so much of it inside.
Right. Yeah, that's the second most memorable scene for me. And that's the one I immediately I quote.
What is the most memorable?
I will get to that in just a second.
Okay.
I don't know
Please-
if it's the same one.
Please give me your favorite line, if you can off the top of
Well,
your
it's
head.
kind of like it goes in like a little bit of like a series of it. But when Robin Williams goes to the kitchen and talks about the soup that Agador made, and he was like, "It's a peasant soup," and the son and him are just drinking the sherry out of the bottle. And I'm gonna drop some f-bombs here, but he's like, "God damn you, fuck the shrimp, just fuck the shrimp," and he just like walks out. He's just like going insane. I just fuck the shrimp.
It's okay. We're all right. It's fine. Just shut up, goddamn you. It's all right. Stop crying. Goddamn you. What are you standing there for? Go. She'll be here in a minute. Go. Damn it. Fuck the shrimp.
Fuck the shrimp. It's so good. And like you just see Agador just try to get the shrimps into the pot when he walks out, but it lands on the floor.
It's and something that you don't always get is a chemistry between a cast. And I don't know anything about the behind the scenes. I don't know if they liked each other or they didn't like each other, but they
Right.
were all on this roller coaster together, and they all wrote it together, and they all allowed each other to be present with each other and really commit. So it's like little moments like that. Ron Williams was just going, and he's like, "Let me."
Well,
yeah.
like the four parents, Dianne Wiest and Gene Hackman and Nathan Lane, Robin Williams. Those are such powerhouse actors.
Oh my gosh.
Every one of them.
Gene Hackman is a brilliant actor,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so funny at the end when he's in drag. It's just like, because he's this serious, very talented actor in a woman's outfit.
I think
It's
like
great.
he was like one of the actors of the
Oh, yeah.
70s. Like he was huge.
What's your favorite line?
My favorite line. I don't think I know it verbatim, but it.
Is there a scene that you like? I bet I could tell you what the line.
I think it's when they're doing. It's just a real simple joke. The whole like, I need you to walk like more of a man.
John Wayne.
Mm-hmm. And then Nathan Lane does a perfect John Wayne.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene in the whole movie. I was gonna ask what's our favorite scene next, but since
What's the line?
And then
What's
he
the line,
said,
Ivy?
and Nathan Lane goes, "No good," and he says, "I don't know. I just didn't know." Actually, he
No,
said,
it's
"No, he
just-
said that's perfect. I just didn't know John Wayne walked that way."
Yeah, I never knew John Wayne. Yeah,
I love it.
That's,
Yeah.
and and I'm named after John Wayne. I grew up watching John Wayne, so when I watched this movie, I was like, I laughed so hard because it's like, yeah, John Wayne had a pretty feminine walk.
Yeah.
And
John
then-
Pierce.
What?
Is that your middle name?
He was called the Duke.
I didn't know that. Now I do.
Oliver, no.
The more you know.
Put a little thing in with a rainbow. The more
Wow.
you know.
I don't know John Wayne that much.
You should.
Oh,
I know True Grit, and then I know
that
Robin Williams' impression of him.
we're gonna have to do the next
Well,
movie.
one of my favorite. Yeah, we will because The
Westerns.
Searchers is one of the best films of all time.
Oh,
But this is Robin Williams bit. He's on Letterman or something, and he's like, "You want to see how I do George Bush?" He goes, "You take John Wayne, you tighten up the ass a little bit, and you got George Bush."
love that. That's perfect.
It's brilliant. But that's my favorite scene.
Okay.
Is the
Yeah.
walk like John Wayne. He does the walk.
I like the hat. He's like,
Okay.
good touch.
Good touch. Yeah. So what's your favorite scene?
There's so many good. It would be John Wayne. It would be the intro because Nathan Lane is freaking out. I was like, I can't go on. I'm too fat. I'm short. And then Robin Williams go, "I made you short." Out of all the insults that he gave himself, and I
And when
just love that.
he goes, "What do you do when I'm on stage?" "I just lie
Nothing.
here."
I lie here, and he's like putting on his stockings and everything, and talking about wine is like tannins. Like, well, I only
Yeah.
drink red wine, and oh, it's so good.
You have a favorite scene?
Scene, not line.
Yeah, scene.
Um,
Because the reason I delineate between the two is because the movie is chock full of lines, but the movie is also chock full of scenes that are just funny.
Iconic.
It's not necessarily just the lines that make it funny, but it's the circumstances, the actor's energy that makes them hilarious.
okay. I think my favorite scene is when Robin Williams is serving the soup, stew, shrimp,
The peasant
Yeah.
and
stew.
just his whole little.
Smells
speech.
well is measured by the size of his cock.
I love it.
Exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you.
There's an egg in this. It's called a
Yeah.
huevo.
It's just so well done, and I love just the camera movement of like going from one to another, and then it just stops on him where he delivers that great final line, and then just pause, walks out.
Right. And another line that I really like that it serves to the point of if you're a political junkie, and it's those type of lines that it's like if you listen, they're there. But if
Right.
you're just listening for the
Passively.
man's wealth is the measure of the size of his cock, like if you're just listening for those type of lines, you miss like people don't care about the details, just the headlines. That's it's ironic.
Yes, that's
but it's
so
very
topical
funny because
right
it's
now.
very true. Because
Yeah.
and even I do it sometimes because I'm just so busy and I read the headline but there's so much more to a story. And people just run off with the headline and it creates narratives.
Denzel Washington has this little interview that he had where he talks just about that, about how with the news, it's no longer about being true. It's about it's about being first. It's about whoever can get this news
Right.
out. No matter who it hurts, they just need to get it out now before someone else.
Unfortunate situations.
Very much so.
But what a fun movie.
I know. What
Right,
an
but
upbeat movie.
There's a range to it.
Yeah.
There's some subtleness, and every good comedy does. Every
That's the
great
difference.
comedy.
That's the difference between what you're saying about comedies now than comedies from 20 years ago. But this is also, this is also a film from
Right.
this was written in the 70s. But it's so layered, and the comedy there's more behind it than just funny jokes.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, like the comedies that are out now that are the good ones, even ones that I love to watch, that like Will Ferrell is in and stuff like that. When I think my favorite comedies, it's always going to go back to those really well thought out dialogue, that witty dialogue it's just so great. And so I'd rather go to that than comedies nowadays. No offense, comedies nowadays.
It's got to have a point.
Right.
If
It's got to have substance to it.
It's going to be okay.
So let's play our trivia game.
Yay.
Do
we get buzzers?
Did you bring some or no? It's okay. I got enough for all of us. So we're gonna
the
keep.
buzzers?
Oh no.
I wanna.
Just go ding. Just go ding.
Ding.
And I'll call since I'll just be master of ceremonies.
I'm gonna. I'll,
No, it's fine.
What are you doing?
No, it's okay. Well, anything you bring up, I probably already have. Okay, true or false?
Oh.
Here we go.
I'm so scared.
Robin Williams was originally cast as Albert. True or false? Which is the Nathan Lane character.
True.
She got it before you, but it is true.
Are we competing?
Yeah, of course you're competing. Everything's a competition.
Oh, jeez.
Now, here's another question.
I
Do
didn't
y'all
say ding.
know who was going to play Armand, which is Robin Williams' character? Who was set to play...
Nathan Lane.
No, you're wrong.
Who?
And I get a point if you don't get it.
The house always wins.
But you said Robin Williams was originally supposed to be Armand.
Albert, which is Nathan Lane's
Albert.
character.
So I
But
guess
who
that
was
was a
supposed to be
dumb answer.
Armand?
Oh crap!
Very famous comedian.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites.
I feel like I'll know this right when he says it because I don't know right now.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
You
go.
done? You give up?
Yep.
It's Steve Martin.
Oh my gosh! I knew that.
I think that could have been a good movie.
Yeah, I still think
I like the fact that Hank Azaria is younger than Robin Williams and
Right.
Nathan Lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit younger.
Yeah.
Because Steve Martin's like, they're all about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think about it, like I just can't see it that way.
Neither can I.
It's
so
hard to
hard.
see it, but I think because I think Robin Williams could do Albert really well.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin is known for playing the straight guy.
Yes.
That I think he does that really well. I think it could have been a well-made movie.
Yeah.
It would be different. Of course, it would have been different, but I think it would just been just as funny. Mm-hmm. Okay, true or false? Robin's slip in your favorite shrimp scene
Yes.
was planned.
No.
Ooh, y'all said it at the same time.
Ivy can have the point.
Yeah, of course you will.
That's
I'm not
fine.
going to give you the point.
Jeez.
Oh.
I barely do want to give it to her, but I'd rather give it to
My
myself.
goodness.
But, yeah, if you watch it, all the other actors are trying to hold back laughter. because
Yes.
it's-
You could
Bobby
see it
just
in
slaps
Hank's
us.
like face. He's like,
Oh,
You
so
know?
you know something about Mike Nichols? He films the rehearsals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to get
is it?
to get more genuine.
Do you think
reactions.
there's like footage?
Oh, probably.
I think it's probably in the. I think some of it's probably in the film.
Yeah, a lot of it's probably in the
Ooh,
film.
I want to see like
Like
deleted
that slip up.
scenes.
That could.
Mm-hmm.
That could.
So Hank Azaria was working on what other famous movie at the same time?
Late 90s.
Oh God.
It's very, very famous movie.
I'm trying to think of all the movies he was in.
Titanic.
No.
I'm thinking 96.
Yeah.
96.
It had a great cast, two of which were in the movie we reviewed yesterday.
What was the movie you reviewed?
Irishman.
Heat.
It was Heat.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
96.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Mike Nichols found out that on his birthday that he was filming both and had been working for like 18 hours and was like, go home, dude.
Wow.
Grover's Corners.
Wow. What range by Hank Azaria?
Yeah. It is. He's like an understated actor. He's been in so much. Grover's Corners, where Armand as the mother is supposedly from, is a fictional town in what famous American play?
Oh, he knows. He knows it before I do.
Possibly. Well, do you know it?
No,
They
no,
did a
no,
movie
I-
of it back in the 40s with
Yeah.
William Holden.
Oh, with what? I don't know that, but Our Town.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Damn.
He's neck and neck.
Damn.
True or false? This is the last question. True or false? Mike Nichols had to be covered in a sound blanket during the toast scene because he was laughing so hard.
During the which scene?
The toast scene.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure because
Ding, ding,
I
ding.
laughed too hard.
Ollie, you won.
Damn.
Sadly.
Ivy, I'm so
Only
sorry.
because you didn't
No.
bring questions like you were supposed
It's
to.
okay, well done.
Here's our audience question. What book is the real mom's secretary reading? So when when Robin Williams goes in to ask the mom if she'll come, what book? It focuses on the secretary for a second. What book is she reading? That's answer in the comments, and that's all we have. That's all the time we have for this week. Be sure to tune in next Friday. Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Ivy Hobson.
That is my name.
For
Thank
coming
you.
in and talking about this wonderful movie with us.
It's been a pleasure.
It absolutely has.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you next week.
See ya.
Like the movie till the screen goes dark.